Um, Hey everybody in YouTube land, so this is Shroud Savage, and today I'm going to be doing something different from what I usually do, which is model reviews, which is what I planned for it to be, for what I wanted to do for my channel. But today I decided to do something different because I'm sorry, I just blanked out there for a second, but I blanked out there because I wanted to do this video because I just recently watched I think episodes 13 through 16 of Mobile Suit Victory Gundam, and those of you Gundam fans out there who don't know what Victory Gundam is, Victory Gundam is a spin-off series of the Universal Century timeline, which means it's a whole new cast, whole new everything, the mobile suits, everything, even a new antagonist group who are called the Vespas. And Victory Gundam has a reputation of being a dark series. Now, up to the point of episodes 1 through 12, it seems slightly darker than Zeta Gundam, which I previously watched and loved. Even got the SD of Zeta Gundam, which I'll be using for Victory Gundam, which is the main mobile suit of, well, Victory Gundam, in his place, since I do not have the actual model of it. Now, as I was saying, it seemed a bit darker than Zeta Gundam, which is known to kill off a lot of characters, but this only happened in the end. People are dying 1 through 12, I'm not going to say who, but they're mostly like second characters and you don't get to know them that well. But 13 through 16, they were just unbelievable. In all 4 episodes, pretty much one of the main characters died. Yeah. Oh, and when I said I want 13 through 16, I meant 13 through 18. They were just shocking. I know Yoshiyuki Tamino, if you don't know, Yoshiyuki Tamino is the creator of Gundam from the original Mobile Suit Gundam in 1979 through Victory Gundam, and eventually made Turn A Gundam, but that's a long story. Well, that's the short of it. Anywho, I've seen some pretty dark things made by Yoshiyuki, like the Zeta Gundam. That was just so dark. It was just so different from the original in a lot of ways. Not just the mobile suit designs and the character design, but just of how dark it was. But this took the cake by a mile. I've also seen Char's Counterattack, which takes after ZZ Gundam, which is more lighthearted. Even at the end, where a lot of people did die, but not as much as Zeta Gundam. Anywho, and Char's Counterattack, that really struck a chord with me. It was both sad and another emotion that I couldn't explain. Wasn't any other emotion, wasn't happy, wasn't sad, wasn't angry. It was just an emotion. But so far what I feel about Victory Gundam is just how sad it is. I mean, people are dying, children are just running for their lives, people are just it's sometimes kind of hard to watch. And when these deaths happen, like one after one, that was emotionally shocking. And as these deaths just kept piling up and piling up, I was near to tears. I've never cried because of someone dying, but I've come closest. And this has to be up there in one of the most saddest deaths of a character for me. It's just that I was aware of Victory Gundam's reputation, but I thought since I saw Zeta Gundam and seen some other very dark and sad series before it, that I thought I could handle something as dark as Victory Gundam was supposed to be. I was very much wrong. I can control myself, but still, it just if there was one thing right now that Victory Gundam has left an experience, left a feeling on me, it would have to be sad and tragic. And it really shows how sad and very dark war can be. I know that Gundam as a franchise has always, in the anime world, has always been oriented to show the effects of war on people, and that neither side is good nor evil, but shades of gray, and stuff like that. But this is just the worst aspect of war that you can get. This is people crying and sadness and just so much emotion, so much melancholiness, so much sadness, so much anger, so much rage over the rest of fellow soldiers seeing their comrades die and them unable to do anything about it. The main character, Uso, he's like about 11. He's the youngest Gundam pilot I think there is, other than Kyo Asano from Gundam Age. And to see these deaths happen around him and unable to do anything about them, I'm sorry, that type of trauma to a kid that age, especially one who has to fight, is something that makes it Victory Gundam even more sad. It's even more tragic than it already is. And his friends are also kids. and they are, they are also they also have the same feelings. This uselessness of unable to stop their friends' deaths. I've had this feeling of uselessness to try to not stop someone from dying. Because when I was while I was in elementary school, I think it was the fourth grade, I think, my grandmother died, and that really impacted the whole family. I felt completely and utterly useless to stop her death. I felt kind of like it was my fault. And that's probably what Uso's thinking, at least from my perspective, at least, that it is his fault that these people died, and that he was unable to do anything to stop them from dying. And the way that these characters died, they are just brutal, to say the least. This is just unbelievable of how brutal these deaths are. Think of some of the most brutalest deaths in a mecha anime that you could think of. I bet that you will probably see something like it in Victory Gundam during 13 through 18, the episodes. That is how powerful it is. That Gundam has been known to have a reputation to be too sad. And prior to this, except for Zeta Gundam and some parts of the movie Char's Counterattack and F91, which I have not seen, but I'm aware of its kill count as well, and it is almost on par with Victory Gundam, as I'm aware of. Most of the Gundam series usually have a few main characters die. In Mobile Suit Gundam, the original, there are like maybe 6 or 7 deaths. But these were few and far between. And the same can be said about Gundam Double Zeta. They were few and far between except for the ending of the series, which is also very sad but also happy in the same way, so I got no beef with it. But Victory Gundam right now, what do I have to say about it? It's not that I hate the anime, it's just that I'm in a crossroads right here. I've got 2 choices. One is to simply stop watching the anime until I am able to deal with it better. Or 2, keep watching the anime and deal with the grief of these characters' death. I know these characters are fake, but the way that they are presented in their deaths and their roles in this story, this is how Victory Gundam is going to go. I would not recommend this for the faint of heart when it comes to your animated series, because this is some dark stuff. And the episodes that these people died in, this is early on in the series. Victory Gundam has 50 to 49 episodes. It's got 50 episodes. We are not even at the halfway mark. We're not even at episode 25. If characters are already dying, then I can see already where it would get its bad reputation. Wow. Now, I know this is probably going to be a spoiler, but I'm just going to say this to prove how dark it is. Well, and how twisted the Vespa Empire, the main antagonist group of Victory Gundam, is. One of the main characters on the antagonist side, who was on Earth and went back to space, she met down with the main commander of the Vespa Empire, of the military of the Vespa Empire, and for her failures on the combat field on Earth, instead of being executed by the guillotine, which is how the Vespas usually execute people, she was forced to be exiled from her colony out into the dark abyss of space. In other words, she is forced to forever float in outer space, the endless black sea, if you will, forever. And that is just, I think, a fate worse than death. When it comes to death, it can be painful or it can be painless, but at least you'll know it'll be over quickly. She was given a ration of foods and enough air to supply her for 3 days. 3 days. She was forced, because she just failed on the battlefield, instead of being demoted, was forced to float alive in space for 3 days. Could you imagine that? No one else around you. No one could hear you. No one could help you. No one would be there except you. If that was me, I would go mad. And that's probably what's going to happen to her. I haven't seen enough episodes to know what her fate is. But if this is the last time that we are going to see her, that is probably going to be her fate. To forever float in outer space. Forever. For 3 days, though, she will be alive. You want to torture someone and show them a fate worse than death? That is one of them. That is the worst thing, at least one of them, that you could possibly do to a human being, to any creature, period. This death, I don't know if Yoshiyuki Tomino himself wrote it, but if he did, that is just unbelievable. This is the same guy that wrote the script for Zeta Gundam, which is extremely lighthearted, at least in the first half. It gets more serious, but it's still keeping some of its lightheartedness. And Mobile Suit Gundam, although it did have some of its drama, not too many people died that was part of the main crew and cast. But this woman that was exiled into space was part of the main cast, and we knew her. We got to know her. And her relations with her comrades and others. Now she knew that she would, for her failures, that she would probably get some sort a death penalty and executed, but she did not expect this. Her Lieutenant Chronicle, who was the mass villain of Victory Gundam, he said this was too harsh and tried to stand up to her, but she said that this was gracious. But I think she was putting on a strong face in front of her superior. That takes a lot of courage and bravery to put an almost emotionless face in front of something like that without coming to tears over it. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say about it. That's just unbelievable. Okay, I think that's all I have to say on the matter at this time. I'm sorry if this is a bit too personal of a video for you, the viewers, but I just want to put this out because it just kept creeping up in my mind, and it got me so riled up. So the Zeon may have been not the best guys. I mean, the Principality Zeon, the Neo Zeon, the Zeon remnants have tried to drop asteroids, have dropped colonies, has poisoned an entire colony of civilians with toxic gas that was melting their skin and toxicizing or whatever, and poisoning their lungs. But this was what they thought was best for their cause. They may not, and same thing with the Crossbone Vanguard. They attacked a civilian colony with mobile suits, and I haven't seen, as I said, I haven't seen F91, but from the video from Gundamania about F91 by the anime overviewer, it was some dark stuff. And that was in the opening of F91. First few minutes, including the opening song. And the Crossbone Vanguard may have done this, but they would never do anything horrible like that to one of their soldiers. Neither did the Zeon that I'm aware of. They would only lock them up for some amount of time or demote them, and only execute those they thought were traitors or spies. But neither of these two, or any of the other antagonist factions in any other Gundam series, has done this. The Earth Federation from Gundam Seed may have made child soldiers, but they never ever would have done something that horrible. They would have done something like that to their enemies, not to their own comrades. To do something that horrible, that despicable, is the most dishonorable thing you could do to a person. Period. I know I said it's one of the things, but no, I'm changing my mind. That is just downright wrong. A superior, when you fail a mission so many times, may demote you. May even kick you out of the military even. Maybe on dishonorable discharge, but never, ever would they do something that horrible. At least if they exile you in the desert, you can find food. You can survive somehow. You would have some way of surviving. In space, with only 3 days worth of rations and oxygen, you will only have about, if you sparingly, about 4 to 5 days to live. And the chances of someone finding you on the outskirts of where any spaceships would not be possible, especially something that small. And they threw her out into distant space, near the asteroid belt probably. To do something that horrible to a person is just something I can't stand it, is all I'm saying. I can't stand it. Alright. I think that is all I have to say on the matter. I don't want to talk about any more about it. So, in conclusion, this is all I have to say. If you are a Gundam fan who has not seen Victory Gundam yet, be warned. I am warning you right now. If you have seen all this video and you still have an intent to watch it, be warned. This is some sad stuff. This is some sad scenes. Heck, sometimes almost all the episode, except for the opening song and the ending song, and the trailer, even the trailer sometimes, is just sad. And for the entire show, I think it will stay that way until it ends. This is Shroud Savage, and I'll see you next time. Dakota's blood runs through my vein. You know my name. Shroud Savage. Signing off.